Hey guys, welcome to Eight of Cups Tarot. A big apology. I wanted to get the mid-monthly love readings out for Valentine's Day, and I was not able to. I've had a lot going on and top of it, which often happens when you're not taking care of yourself, you get sick. And it's flu season, so at the worst possible time, I came down with the flu. But I'm trying to get through it, and I was really called to do this today. So I had to find a way to make it easier on myself. So I'm just going to do the elements, a reading for each element. And I think it's going to capture the energy pretty accurately because there's so many shifts going on at the end of February. It's a really, I mean, this is kind of somewhat as intense as the energy was in mid-January. So it's like another wave coming through, and it's going to be this kind of energy where some big aspects are happening. Some real big opportunities are headed our way. You know, we've got a Venus square Mars and a lot of feminine, masculine, personal planet activations, as well as some of the bigger stuff. You know, Uranus is coming along. We're going to have a trine to Mars and Uranus. And so it's pretty exciting, but at the same time, we're sitting in this fog of retrograde Mercury, right? So things could very well be playing out. We could be making big moves, but we maybe just don't know it. Or our communication, we're having a hard time communicating with others, which often happens. I saw a post the other day, which was maybe my favorite thing ever. They said, Mercury is about to be in marmalade. And that was fantastic because it really does capture Mercury in Pisces retrograding. It's a lot of feelings. It's a lot of intuition. So, you know, we're probably at a crossroads making larger decisions in our lives, but we can't really see through the fog. It's really making us have to go into our intuition, into our knowing, and maybe even exasperate that spiritual side for us and allowing us to find a way to have faith in the universe and what they're delivering to us. And it talks a lot to me about vulnerability. And I think with the Jupiter Venus square, I think there's going to come a point where there has to be some kind of, you know, the talk. Like, we all have to establish where we're at. As Mars gets into Capricorn and we start triggering all those points again, you know, this is a time where we firm things up, and that's our focus. We're closing things out, cleaning things up. We're seeking clarity. We're seeking feedback. We're reviewing what we've done. So it's a real progressive drive, ambition towards the future. And I think, especially for the earth signs, it's a time where it's, you know, are you with me or are you not? Do we have the same vision of the future with each other? Is there room to grow? And I think there's a deep reviewing of what you know and what you feel. And it's kind of a judgment time. And if you look at these cards, what I did, I laid out some cards for the feminine energy, some cards for the masculine, and some overall stuff. And then I've got a kind of a funny deck, which I don't even know is going to work. So it's my first time doing it on video. Let's cross your fingers. But let me start with the feminine energy, which is coming up really beautiful. So if this is you, which I sense it is, the earth signs energy, I think you're tapping into a very, you know, and especially if you are a Virgo, so that Pisces watery energy is your opposite. And I feel like that's what you're really tapping into. You know, your Mercury, your ruling planet, is in Pisces right now. So it's kind of the going within and reviewing. And the cards that you came up with seem to agree. The High Priestess and the Empress. So, Earth signs, I think that you are starting to pay attention to your intuition. And I feel like you're taking the time to stay grounded and to check yourself. There's something that's very healthy about this, making sure there's balance in your life. You know, I think maybe with some of that Saturn-Pluto conjunction and the eclipses in Capricorn, we may have learned some really hard lessons about self-care and self-love and balance and the need for rest. And I think by operating in a mode of me first, I love myself the most, I think we find a lot of internal strength, and I think we tap into some of the answers automatically. I think that we are well prepared here to have to make big decisions, and we are seeking and feeling clarity in where we are in our lives right now. I think we know where we want to grow. You know, the Empress energy, she's abundant, she's prepared, she has all the tools, she's willing to move, she's willing to receive. There's a magnetism here. There's a knowing and a trusting in the universe, and then a teaching yourself to learn to receive and love. Maybe some of my earth signs were at a place where there was a level of unworthiness. Or maybe we just weren't attracting the people. You know, sometimes earth signs, we tend to hold on to potential, right? So we see a little bit of potential and we have a lot of faith in somebody, and we build an entire fairy tale around what we think could happen, and then sometimes we are very far from reality. And I feel here you're learning to get that under control. I don't feel a lot of fantasy energy, actually. I feel a lot of groundedness and trusting of the universe, and I think that's really beautiful. Your partner Five of Swords and the Justice. Okay, so 4 cards, and we've got 3 major arcanas. Something tells me this is kind of a big deal in both of your lives. 5 of Swords and Justice. So maybe there were some issues. Maybe there was a breakup or a separation. This person is probably has prominent air signs in their chart. Libra, Aquarius. Oh, I'm so sorry. I pick up a lot of energy of maybe somebody walked away, or somebody made a mistake and now they need to defend their actions. Now they feel like they need to fight for something. And with the Justice card there, I think they have to fight for what they deserve. So I don't know why, because it's not specific to these cards, but I'm looking at this and I'm sensing a little bit of guilt. And and your partner may be struggling with the unworthiness that maybe you had just done in the past. So and that's interesting because I always, we attract the lessons we need to learn. And sometimes we attract the teachers, right? And so I think earth signs maybe are in a place where we've been through some stuff and then we meet and we fall in love, or we have some sort of a connection with another person who's just starting to go through what we recently resolved in our lives. And by that, a relationship can create a lot of beautiful healing energy in it. If there's open communication and if you're willing to talk about those experiences without judgment. And that without judgment part is a really important part of what we're dealing with this month with the Neptune Mercury retrograde. But it's not a sense of judgment on others. I think it's a sense of judgment on ourselves. Sometimes we're just too hard on ourselves. Sometimes we're our worst enemies. Sometimes our inner conflict and our thoughts, as I just said, the earth sign had gone through this, building a fantasy around certain people that really never come through. They seem to always disappoint, but that's because we built a dream on potential. With this connection, this air sign, I'm going to call it, with the masculine energy, I think it's a struggle in creating the stresses in your mind and not paying attention to what your body is telling you. And that's really important because the cards that came up in astrology for your masculine is the moon and a grand cross, the provoker. So what I feel here on your partner's side, what I feel really strongly, like I talk about that inner conflict, that worrying of either the unworthiness or the undeserving or the just stress, when you meet someone and you fall in love, and I feel like this is a connection that is much bigger than just the two personalities we're dealing with here. I think there's some divine timing. I mean, we have a judgment card, we have the high priestess, we have the empress and justice. There's a lot of karma going on in this reading. And so that tells me this is an extremely significant relationship, and it's probably one of those relationships where you cannot easily walk away. It is something where you are continually pulled to, where you are continually feeling another person's energy. So even if there's no communication or a lack of communication, there is almost a telepathic intuition, an intuitive connection between the two of you. And I think that you are really thriving in that energy, my feminine. I'm sorry, let me grab a drink. It's difficult to talk for long periods of time. I think you're thriving in this energy of the knowing, of the intuition, of this kind of, oh my gosh, this is a soulmate. I think your person is being triggered. I think your person is extremely afraid and unsure of these feelings. The moon, this could be a lot of subconscious issues. It could be, it talks to me about trust and whether, again, I feel that maybe this person doesn't trust themselves. Maybe they just don't know if they're ready. You know, the moon is a lot of fears. And I feel like when it comes up with the Grand Cross, the provoker, it's like this type of intense connection is really, really triggering. You know, kind of like a Chiron activation. All of a sudden, you start to feel all of the things, and you're not used to that. And you know, if this is an air sign, they're very intellectual. There's, you know, they're very smart. They're very good with their words, and they can connect to you in that way. But there is a lacking of emotion because they deal with things in the mind space. And when that type of person, even though I know this reading is for an earth sign, I'm picking up so much water energy here. So when an intellectual person meets a very watery, earthy mix, well, then you throw in some passion and some intensity that I feel comes out in this Grand Cross card, and you begin to realize how fertile this energy is, how if the two of you can work together, if you could agree to be open and be vulnerable and do the talking and the planning and the strategizing, so much success can come from this connection. Advice from Spirit. If done, if handled correctly, if staying true to your feelings, there is a great potential for the Ten of Cups. And that comes out with a Judgment card. So, Earth signs. I think, again, you're coming across that situation of the great potential. There is a great potential for real love. And that's what I see with the Ten of Cups, that true emotional fulfillment. It is not just the romantic partner or the provider or somebody that excites you. You know, this is a best friend. This is a connection what you could bear your soul with. And with the Judgment card being there, I think that my earth signs are in a position where if this isn't going to happen, if potential doesn't start manifesting into the 3D, there will have to be a judgment call. There is a decision to make. I think that we're all feeling, and that's that Mars moving into Capricorn and triggering everything that we've been through in the past 2 months again. It's all back up for review. All the plans, all the broken plans, all the things you didn't think were going to happen may happen. All the things you did think were going to happen aren't going to happen. And that's the period that we're in. But Mars in Capricorn is giving you the drive that no matter how hard it is, whether you have the flu and you still have to work, there is an ambition and a drive to get to the bottom of these issues and to plan for the future. There's no ignoring the need to make the steps towards the future. Also, and I don't think I pulled these for you, your cards, earth signs, your energy. The Virgo, I analyze, and Aries, I am. So again, tapping into that energy, that Empress energy, which Venus is in Aries. So that Aries energy, it's kind of giving the feminine a little bit of a drive to speak up, to have the courage, to just say it. And I think earth signs are so grounded, and we're so polite, and we're so kind to others and conscious of their feelings. And I think sometimes when the Venus starts to square our placements, it's more of a, wait a second, I need some answers. I need to know where I'm going. I need to know if I'm safe, because again, there's that feeling of knowing your self-worth, knowing your power, knowing you have power in the situation, that you don't give it away. Okay? It's a attachment, but it's a healthy attachment. And the Virgo I analyze, it's analyzing all that potential, right? It's analyzing where this is going. What is the real potential? What is the person's intentions? And I think this person does have good intentions, but I think they have to get out of this fear space and start to be honest with themselves. And I think there may be a realization. I feel like Uranus is going to come through in the next month or so and shake this energy up. Yeah, and I see a lot of Jupiter with this Judgment card as well. Mars hitting Jupiter soon. Jupiter squaring Venus. Absolutely. There's some big choices. And the overall energy, Capricorn, Four of Pentacles. I don't get anything real bad out of this energy. In fact, I think it's a real responsible energy for the time, because I think we know things are very fluid and emotional, and we're having the talks and we're feeling the things. But there's also the wisdom that you have received in the recent past with all of the conjunction and eclipses. December and January were some months where you may have been hit pretty hard, and so you know the value of regaining your balance. You know how hard it is, and you're not going to give up that inner peace so easily. But I also think there's a feeling that you're not going to give up on this particular partnership either. There's something telling both of you to hold on, to not give up and walk away yet. That there's something here that needs some deeper exploring. And it may not be a 20-year marriage or commitment. It could just be there's a little bit more to learn here. The karma isn't over yet. Or that the bad karma that got worked through you may realize, and you may understand intuitively that energy is going to change, and it's going to deliver the dharma and the good things from this connection, if you're willing to do the work, because I think there's work to be done here. I think there is a level of vulnerability that both people have to accept. I think there's a knowing that this is significant and life-changing and not to be ignored, and yet nobody is ready to talk about it. It is the big scary elephant in the corner, and you feel it, but it's very hard to put it into words, even for a mercurial or outspoken type of person. A communicative sign that is even having a hard time putting these experiences into words. I pulled a couple animal spirit cards for you. Um, and I wanted to, they told me to also include this. So, bottom of the deck for your animal spirit was a rabbit, and I feel like this is the overall tension between you two. Now, let's not ignore that a rabbit is well known for a lot of sexual tension, so I think that adds to it. I think that even though I'm seeing a lot of emotion and a lot of intellect, I don't see any wands here, but yet I'm still picking up that this has all of the elements. There is a great fire here. I've got a cosmic egg with a snake, and that's a kundalini. I've got the Grand Cross. I've got the moon. I've got the rabbit. I feel an intense, pleasurable connection here. Again, like a magnetism that just can't be ignored. So, rabbit, afraid of everything, overwhelmed, and frozen. The rabbit loves to remind his friends that someday the eagle will swoop down and eat him. He talks and talks and talks about it so loudly, in fact, that one day the eagle hears and thanks him for the great idea. Rabbit energy is alive when we are scared, most often about the future. And we become our own worst enemy. We spin up a dust cloud of fear and then complain to others that we are lost. Notice your thoughts and words, O rabbit. They shape your destiny. When in balance, sensitive, problem solver, and a good listener. When out of balance, over explains, talks fast, and to bring into balance, a day of silence. And then for you, you got the ethereal. Both partners got ethereal, which again speaks to me of this being a very significant and life-changing connection here. And sure, when you walk into something like that unprepared, it can be very scary. It can be, it can be unsettling, and there could be a lot of triggers because you are meant to come along and heal each other. So your energy for my earth signs, Capricorn, Virgo, and Taurus. Cosmic egg. Completion, harmony, the infinite within the finite. The cosmic egg is the final card in the journey of the animal spirit deck, and it represents the unfolding of cosmic consciousness. This state emerges after we have tread the path for quite some time, and through self-effort and grace, we experience self-realization. A sense of contentment and oneness spontaneously arises within us, and the veils of our self-limiting beliefs are lifted. When the essence of the cosmic egg has not been activated, we may feel as if we will never get there, or that we travel alone, disconnected from others. Even if our encounter with this card is brief, appearing as a momentary glimmer or flash of interconnectedness, its potent energy stays with us. The cosmic egg is ready for the fragmentation of modern life. It's through the power of this card that we are reminded of the cosmic contract written at the beginning. We hold on to life, and life holds on to us. The journey is complete, but it does not end. Ooh, that just gave me the chills. Wow. Well, that speaks for itself. And that's what I'm talking about. I really feel so proud of this earth sign energy that it feels like it's come so far in the self-forgiveness and the self-worth and the allowing and the trusting, and then ultimately all of that energy leading to the unfolding and to the reality of your dreams coming true. Now, your partner got the golden egg, which is another ethereal energy. Isn't that beautiful? Within the golden egg lives a precious sound. Deep within that sound resides a message. The sound cannot be heard, nor the message discerned, until we retreat from the noise of modern-day life. The magical essence of the golden egg needs warmth, quiet, and time to unfold. No rushing, pushing, or grasping. Find a place of deep and restful ease, perhaps through yoga or meditation. If you do not yet have a meditation practice, take some time for introspection or contemplation. When the mind begins to settle and to breathe is calm, ask the question that weighs heaviest on your heart, staying open to any response you hear. Engaging with the energy of the golden egg is an advanced practice. It requires becoming intimate with our very essence and comfortable with vulnerability. When a feeling of tenderness or gratitude arises from deep within you, know that you are well on your way. Your chest may swell like you are seeing an old friend that's been away for a long, long time. Listen to the message they've been waiting to tell you. Oh, see, that's what I'm saying. This person just needs to get out of their mind a little bit. And if you can suggest that to them in a really kind and beautiful way, I see so much potential here once you get past the fears. Okay, so I bought these really silly cards, and I don't know if they're really going to coincide with this reading. They're just kind of funny. But I just wanted to kind of not get so deep in the romance for Valentine's Day. It puts a lot of pressure on people. And I just want to point out that Valentine's Day isn't about the least romantic time of the year. And there's really no explanation to it. As far as like astrological timing, it's Aquarius season, so that is a season when we become very detached to outcomes, and we become very independent and intellectual. We tend to defend, we become very social. We focus on work because it's Saturn and Uranus. So it's really not about love. It's more about humanitarian love. Joining a group, cleaning up the environment, volunteering at a neighborhood, food pantry or something. That's the kind of love that embodies us in Valentine's Day. And so it's really not a big deal. But I just wanted to be a little funny because, sometimes you get, like I have a couple friends, and sometimes I hear the stories and I just kind of chuckle at how normal the issues are, like you're human, everybody's human, and we all make mistakes, and we all carry these old big egos around, and everyone's sensitive at this time, and so, it is a time of miscommunication and misunderstandings, and we have to be really careful. We have to be really caring and also very stern with our self-care. Send a pic. Sexting will make their fucking day. Okay, so, I don't know if that means something to you. Maybe that's something you guys like to do. Maybe that spark has kind of fallen away and needs to be retrieved. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. If you don't mind, drop a like, share, comment. Let me know how it's going. I hope everyone's doing so good. I love everyone. Have a great end of February.